Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching Where with Sim again. Hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the severe weather threat for today and tomorrow. We'll also be talking about some pretty active flooding across the northwest that will likely be seen up to most likely around a foot of rain in like a couple of days. So I mean, that's pretty heavily right there in the northwest. So we'll have to really watch this area closely, but make sure to be on high alert if you do live around the Seattle area in Washington, because that's where we will start to see those active rainfall amounts occur, bringing atmospheric river flooding. So that's kind of why it's very heavy out there. So, yeah, we're going to be going over the marginal risk for today, where we are seeing a pretty good chance for severe weather. At least we do have a marginal risk across New Orleans and even Mobile, Alabama, with a low tornado threat, but since we do have it, we have to be on high alert. Some of the areas are seeing another tornado threat today that did see one yesterday. Well, hail threat, no hail threat at all, so not really very concerning, but we do have a wind threat, though, that's for sure. So, wind and tornadoes are going to be the main concern today, so something to keep an eye on, but I don't think it's going to be super concerning. But if we look at tomorrow's outlook, if you look, we have another tornado threat for almost the same area. It just doesn't include New Orleans. And as you can probably see, it's definitely looking pretty active out here since we have a tornado threat for today and tomorrow across the Mobile area, while the wind threat stays around, but the hail threat does not. So it's looking like we will see some pretty active weather today and tomorrow. We're not like expecting an outbreak or anything like that, but a few severe thunderstorms are possible, maybe likely at times, but we'll have to watch closely. But on day 3, it looks like that threat of severe weather will either upgrade back to marginal risk, or it will just continue to die down to where we won't be seeing any thunderstorm risk at all, but that will be after day 3. If we look at the excessive rainfall outlook for day 1 outlook, which is today, we are seeing a risk for flash flooding across a pretty good portion of the south area of the United States, and as you can probably see, this does include quite a bit of area. At least I'm heading from Panama City Beach through Mobile and then um over to New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, and then even almost to Houston, but not really though. So since we do have that marginal risk, make sure to be on very high alert today. We're not really expecting any significant flooding or anything out of the system, but definitely something to keep an eye on. But day 2, it still stays around the southeast but heads farther north, and then we start to see that chance for flash flooding across the northwest, across western Oregon, and then on day 3 it expands up north, and then on day 4 it expands up north, and then on day 5 it expands up north. But on day 4, I actually almost didn't see this, but we actually do have a small threat for flash flooding. I called it small because it doesn't cover a very big area, but we do have a slight risk for flash flooding though across this area, which is bigger than this marginal threat. So thankfully, it doesn't include a whole lot of areas. I wouldn't be surprised to see it extend into Seattle or even a few other areas around Seattle. So we will have to watch for that, but I don't really think we'll be seeing like super big flooding until our rainfall totals really start to pick up. So, but on day 5, it pretty much is the same thing, so we'll have to watch closely. But I haven't really showed you guys the climate predictions center outlook, where we are seeing above for much of the United States, below for Florida, which is going to be concerning. But with the precipitation outlook, though, we seem to be seeing below average precipitation for the East Coast getting into Southern California, and we don't typically see this during an El Nino. And on the other hand, we really need the rain over over here to the south area, pretty much around Mississippi and Louisiana. So, I mean, we could just use that rain. So, I mean, we could use a rain every day, but I mean, we will be seeing below average precipitation across this area from December 6th to December 10th, and that's the same for the temperatures. But over down here in southern Texas, there is a chance for above average precipitation, and then up here to the northwest, there is also a chance for above average precipitation. So we'll have to watch closely, but things completely change for day 8 into 14, or the 8 to 14 day outlook from December 8th to December 14th, where we are seeing a pretty good chance for above average temperatures, at least across a pretty good dang portion of the United States. Wow, that's a lot of area that is seeing above average temperatures. No near normal areas, at least not a very big area, but only area that's seeing near normal is pretty much the northwest, just Washington seeing near normal. So all areas will get a pretty good, like, milder temperatures. That's what I meant to say, is everyone will experience milder temperatures. And we need that, so, because not very many people like to deal with the cold air. But if we look at the precipitation, what's good is we're not seeing extremely well above average precipitation. But what is good is that it is showing that everyone will get a chance for precipitation as we get into the 8 to 14 day outlook. So we'll have to watch closely, but even a little bit of below average precipitation can be possible again across this area over here. So we'll have to watch closely, but with the temperature outlook, no temperature outlook, but with the precipitation outlook, we are seeing that occur as far north as southern Indiana, getting that back down into the Gulf of Mexico. And then the snow outlook, pretty big area to watch. At least we have this slight risk heading from central Colorado into northern Idaho, and then we got this area heading from central Oregon into California. So we'll have to watch for some heavy snow, but then we got this widespread wind area to really keep an eye on. We'll go ahead and take a look at the alerts. I'm not really going to be talking about all of them because we will just be focusing on more things. But if we look at the northwest, we are seeing those winter storm warnings, flash flood watches, and even a few other alerts like hydraulic outlooks and stuff like that. So those are something to really keep an eye on if you live in those areas. But even some high wind watches and warnings in effect for southeast Wyoming, and then even some other alerts down here to the south. So we'll have to watch closely, but we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at our radar, where that rain will start to head out of the United States, but then more storms and heavier rain developing far down south. And as we continue to take this forward, we will start to see another big round of storms on December 14th, which is already at the end of radar. I'm just gonna say, if you head past the 180 hour, that's usually where that's usually where there's uncertainty. Okay, that's usually where it's like, I don't really know about this, things will likely change. But if you get all the way to the end of the radar, things are likely gonna be wrong. So I mean, with this thing of storms, yeah, that's gonna likely be wrong, because I don't know how that's really gonna be something to be aware of until we get to that date. But we'll have to watch closely, but changes are likely for sure. We're gonna go ahead and look at the precipitation outlook. Hasn't uploaded completely, but we are seeing that big amount of rain across the northwest, but only in 7 days. And let's see, does this really start getting more? Let's see, when does this really start picking up? Okay, around December 5th is when you can expect most likely up to 9 inches of rain in some areas. Wow. It's a lot. That's a lot of rain for sure. But even down here to the south, we are seeing that isolated area of around 9 inches. So I mean, pretty good rainfall across the south area, but also flooding rainfall across the northwest. They probably don't really need any more precipitation than like a few inches, but we'll have to keep watching. But even the total snowfall says we're gonna be seeing like up to 40 inches of snowfall across central central Washington, getting into Oregon, and then Idaho and Wyoming. All those areas could see up to a foot of rain, not or foot of snow. I mean, not like the whole state, but portions of it, especially around like Jackson and even Boise, and then even up into the central Washington mountains. So we'll have to watch this closely, but before we end this video, we're going to go ahead and hurry and take a look at the temperatures where we are seeing freezing, or sorry, this was in the past, so we're gonna go where we have just started. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this where we are still seeing some pretty good warmth across the south. I would continue to take this far. It will continue to be a little bit warm. Then we may get a shot at some freezing temperatures occasionally. Then as we continue to take this forward, another shot for warm air, and then as we continue to take this forward again, we might even see freezing temperatures again. So we'll have to watch closely, but it is almost winter, so we'll really have to watch for extreme changes as we get into December or even Christmas. So we'll have to watch closely, but thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you guys do have a great day, and I will do one tomorrow.